The sun blazed down on the deck of the ship as the waves crashed against its sides, the sea spray mixing with the sweat on the faces of the men who rowed tirelessly against the current. Odysseus strained against the ropes that bound him to the mast, his muscles tense with fear. A strange song drifted across the water. At first it was beautiful, lifting Odysseus's heart. He looked down at his crew to see if they could hear the incredible sound, but under his orders they had filled their ears with wax to block the sound. But a moment later the sound seemed to change, as if pulling at his nerves toward the island. Odysseus shouted at his men to row faster, but none heard him. A blessing and a curse. His crew, with their ears plugged tight with beeswax, remained oblivious to the seductive song that threatened to lead them all to ruin. The Sirens' island loomed closer, a paradise of lush greenery and golden sands. However, its beauty was marred by the sight of bones scattered along the shore, grim reminders of those who had succumbed to the Sirens' call. Odysseus's mind raced as he fought against the rope, every fiber of his being longing to be free and surrender to the Sirens' promise of bliss. "Release me," he cried out, "let me go to them." The ropes dug into his skin, holding him fast, but then he felt the rope around his hand give. If he could just get it free, he would escape and drive the ship to the shore. The ship drew nearer to the rocks, the voices of the Sirens rising to a crescendo. The air was thick with tension, the line between survival and doom as thin as a strand of hair. Welcome to the mysteries of mythology, Sirens. The Sirens were beautiful legendary beings from Greek mythology, famous for their beauty and deadly songs. According to some myths, their voices were so irresistible that no sailor could pass by their island without being drawn in, often to their doom. These mystical figures have been a part of storytelling for centuries, captivating audiences with tales of their beauty and danger. Over time, their descriptions have transformed as they have been absorbed into different cultures. But where did the myth come from, and why has their appearance and powers changed over time? We don't know much about the Sirens' origins, but according to traditional tellings of the story, they were the daughters of Achelous, a river god, and one of the many muses, the inspirational goddesses of literature, science, and the arts. Having a muse as a mother and a powerful river god as a father perhaps explains why the Sirens are associated with both music and the dangerous allure of the sea. Because of these divine connections, the Sirens were given enchanting voices, making them masters of music and song. Legend has it that their music was so beautiful that it could charm anyone who heard it, often leading them to disaster. Despite their musical gifts, the Sirens were often depicted as dangerous and deadly, living on a remote island filled with the bones of sailors who couldn't resist their song. The number of Sirens in the stories also varies. Homer, in his epic Odyssey, doesn't specify a number, leaving it open to interpretation. Other ancient authors, like Hesiod, suggest there were 3 Sirens. Over time, various names were attributed to them, including Parthenope, Leucosia, and Ligia, among others. One of the most famous stories involving the Sirens comes from Homer's epic, the Odyssey. In this tale, we follow the adventures of Odysseus, a clever and determined hero, on his long journey home from the Trojan War. His journey is fraught with danger, and the encounter with the Sirens is one of the most memorable challenges he faces. Before setting sail from the island of Aiaia, Odysseus receives a crucial warning from Circe, an enchantress and goddess who knows the perils that lie ahead. She tells Odysseus about the Sirens, whose songs are so enchanting that they lure sailors to their deaths on the rocky shores of their island. Circe advises Odysseus to steer clear of their seductive melodies if he wishes to return home safely. Driven by curiosity and a desire to experience their legendary song without falling victim to it, Odysseus devises a clever plan. He instructs his crew to fill their ears with beeswax, blocking out the Siren's irresistible calls. Meanwhile, he has himself tied tightly to the ship's mast, ordering his men not to release him no matter how much he begs or pleads. As they approach the Sirens' island, a magical and haunting melody fills the air. The Sirens sing of knowledge and wisdom, promising to reveal secrets of the world and the glories of the past. Their voices are alluring, promising insight and pleasure beyond measure. Odysseus, despite being bound to the mast, finds himself entranced by their song, begging his crew to set him free so he can move toward the sound. However, his loyal crew remains steadfast, following his previous orders. They row with all their might, determined to keep their course steady and away from the Sirens' island. As the ship moves past, the voices slowly fade away, leaving Odysseus yearning but safe from harm. This experience with the Sirens is a recurring theme in the Odyssey, the struggle between desire and duty, and the importance of self-control in the face of overwhelming temptation. There is continued debate about whether sirens are the same as mermaids and vice versa. While the original versions were clearly not fish-tailed creatures, later art and stories began to transform sirens into these underwater creatures. Art from as early as the 7th century CE shows the first siren in the form of a fish woman. In this period, the Book of Monsters also mentions sirens, describing them with a woman's upper body and a scaly tail. By the early 13th century, more images and texts depict sirens with fishtails. While mermaids have their own stories, the tale of the seductive siren and her dangerous song is part of their legend. But sirens, at least the original version of sirens and mermaids, are not the same. The sirens also played an important role in the tale of Jason and the Argonauts, as told in the epic poem Argonautica by Apollonius of Rhodes. This story follows the hero Jason on his quest to find the Golden Fleece, accompanied by a group of brave adventurers known as the Argonauts. As the Argonauts sail through the treacherous seas, they must navigate past the sirens, who pose a deadly threat with their enchanting songs. Just like Odysseus, the Argonauts are warned about the sirens' irresistible music, which has the power to lure sailors to their doom on the rocky shores of their island. Fortunately, the Argonauts have a secret weapon on their journey: Orpheus, a legendary musician with divine talents. Orpheus is renowned for his incredible skill with the lyre, capable of playing music so beautifully that it can calm storms and even charm the gods themselves. As the Argonauts approach the Sirens' island, the air fills with the sirens' enchanting melody, tempting the sailors to steer their ship toward the danger. However, Orpheus takes up his lyre and begins to play a song of his own, one that is even more powerful and captivating than the sirens' voices. Orpheus' music drowns out the sirens' song, breaking their spell and allowing the Argonauts to sail safely past the perilous island. The crew's resolve is fortified, and they continue on their quest, undistracted by the sirens' deadly allure. The origins and transformations of the sirens are fascinating tales, filled with divine intervention and mystical curses. According to Ovid's Metamorphoses, the sirens were once companions of Persephone, the daughter of Demeter. When Hades abducted Persephone, the sirens, who were once Persephone's companions, were powerless to stop him. In her grief and anger, Demeter transformed the sirens into creatures with the bodies of birds and the heads of women. This transformation served two purposes. It was a punishment for failing to protect Persephone, and it helped Demeter in searching for her daughter by giving the sirens the ability to fly. Another version of the myth suggests that the Sirens' transformation was a punishment from Aphrodite, the goddess of love. The Sirens had chosen to live a life of chastity, which angered Aphrodite, who valued love and romance. In response, she transformed them into creatures with the power to sing irresistibly beautiful songs that could lure anyone to their doom. The transformation was both a curse and a gift, as their enchanting voices became their most potent weapon. The Sirens were then placed on the island of Anthemoessa, surrounded by treacherous waters. Their songs lured countless sailors to the rocky shores, where their ships would be wrecked. This island, with its deadly allure, became the perfect home for the Sirens, suiting their nature as both beautiful and dangerous. The story of the Sirens comes to a dramatic and tragic end in various myths that describe their downfall. One popular version of their death is linked to a prophecy that foretold the Sirens would live only until someone heard their song and escaped unharmed. Odysseus fulfilled this prophecy during his perilous journey home from the Trojan War. After Odysseus cleverly evaded their deadly song, the Sirens were devastated. Overwhelmed by the realization that their enchantment had been broken, they threw themselves into the sea and drowned, unable to bear the shame of their failure. Their bodies were said to have washed up on the shores of Italy, giving rise to local legends about the origins of certain coastal landmarks. In another myth, the Sirens meet their end through a contest with the Muses. Confident in their abilities, the Sirens challenged the Muses to a singing competition. However, the Muses' talents proved to be superior, and the Sirens were easily defeated. Stripped of their feathers, which the Muses used to create victorious crowns, the Sirens were left in disgrace. Consumed by their shame, they leapt into the sea, where they were transformed into the Leucae Islands, near the town of Aptera, meaning featherless. The death of the Sirens marks the end of their mythological legacy, yet their stories continue to captivate us. They remain a symbol of the alluring yet dangerous temptations that challenge heroes in their journeys, reminding us of the struggle between desire and wisdom. The allure of the Sirens extends beyond ancient myths, finding a place in modern culture. In literature, books such as To Kill a Kingdom reimagine the Sirens as lethal beings who hunt humans. Songs like Ship to Wreck by Florence and the Machine use the metaphor of the Sirens to explore themes of self-destruction and temptation. From their mysterious origins to their tragic end, the Sirens have captivated audiences with their enchanting voices and dramatic tales. Their stories remind us of the timeless themes of temptation, resilience, and the struggle between desire and duty.